Welcome to the Star Group. My name is Leonardo. Welcome and namaste. So quick invocation. To the Supreme God, to my spiritual teacher, all spiritual teachers, holy angels, holy masters, to all the saints, to all the holy gurus, all the holy masters, and all the divine beings of light, to all the great ones, we humbly invoke for your divine and priceless guidance, for your divine love, for your illumination, divine help, divine oneness, and divine protection. We thank you in full faith. Thank you for the priceless teachings, priceless knowledge, and for the priceless blessings, for the joy and the oneness. We humbly thank you. With deep gratitude, respect, and love, so be it, and so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome. Okay, so we continue reading the Master Choa Kok Sui's book, The Spiritual Essence of Man, the Chakras and the Inverted Tree of Life. We're covering now Gevurah, the solar plexus chakra, and it is on page where we finished. I believe 98, page 98. Will center of the masses. I believe we did cover center of lower emotions. Frankie, did we cover? Since you watched it so many times. Yeah. Frankie made all the subtitles for you guys last week. That's I want to shout out for Frankie. Thank you for doing all that. You didn't have to. We had problems with the sound and video, and so we're trying to make improvements this week. But thank you. We did cover the center of lower emotions. Did we not? We did, yes. Okay. Yes, we did, because we talked about the basic chakra and the Ming Ming and all that. Yes, you don't remember?
Honestly, I don't.
No,
I thought
look
the
at your
video
notes.
was over and you were like, oh, you know what, we can cover center of lower emotions. Okay, cool. Right.
Yes, we spoke about when the solar plexus chakra is working erratically, we could do to negative emotions, and there's irritability. The Ming Ming chakra and the basic chakra are affected. So we can go over it again, but yes, you can watch a video. You can watch a video, and then hit like, subscribe, and all that. Okay, so page 98, will center of the masses. So the term, okay. So you guys are there? Okay, so for the new people, we're gonna read and then go through it, okay? Sometimes when people read a week before, we just do the lecture because people read the stuff. And other times, if they haven't, then we just read it. So, will center of the masses. The term lower emotion, right, is not necessarily bad. The solar plexus chakra, which we spoke last time, the solar plexus chakra Gevurah, as stated earlier, is also the center of courage, daring, strong drive, perseverance, and the desire to win. This is the I center, as in I want this, I want that, I need that. To be successful, we did this.
Yes.
Last week, yes? Where did we stop?
We're on aligning the door with the higher will.
Okay.
Continue.
Yeah. Okay. Fine.
You're on a roll.
To be successful, the solar plexus chakra Gevurah has to be strong. It is the center of assertiveness. Yes?
Yes.
We know Carol's very assertive. It's good. In general, the masses are emotionally driven. Emotionally driven. When it talks about the masses, this is important. Why? And why is this? What does it say the masses are emotionally driven? So we see this all the time. This is how we, humanity, generally operate. So when, I remember, I think it was George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, right? When they're in the, they are in, during the French Revolution, they're there. They go to France, and it was said that one of them says to the other, when they see this whole revolution, what's happening, and they're saying this is the danger of the masses. At one point, it can get out of hand. But why is it emotionally? Does it say emotionally driven? It doesn't always have to be bad, huh? But sometimes we are driven by emotion. Sometimes why? Because our emotional bodies sometimes take control, right? Once we realize we're not the body, once we realize we are the soul, that we're not the emotions, that we're not the thoughts, that we're not the mind. The mind is a subtle instrument of the soul. We are what? The souls. We're souls. We're the soul. So what happens is sometimes is that when we don't understand this, it is harder to control. Even when you understand it, it is very difficult to control. So to master one's emotions is difficult. So, and these emotions come from what? We have an emotional vehicle, right? We have an astral vehicle, an astral body. And we have a mental body. So these bodies and a physical body. So these bodies, right? They have consciousness of their own. And, they're taking care, they're the host of, they're the temple of a divine being, namely you. You are the divine being. And so these bodies are there to take care of you. And because they're there to take care of, why? Because they want to make sure that divine being, that representative of the Most High, is safe and is taken care of. So there's a lot of selfishness in these bodies. Why? Because they're about, they're about keeping that soul safe, keeping that divine being safe, so that it can do its job, so that it can actually continue, right? It's spiritual progress in this dimension. So that's why the physical body. That's why when little kids, right, babies and toddlers, they have this face where they go, "This is mine, mine. It is mine. It's not even yours, and it's like mine." They're like everything is theirs, right? It's it's cute to us because we understand, they're just being kids. It's but it's selfish. But if an adult does it, we're like, "Oh, what's wrong with this person?" But we're also spiritually young, right? So we have to mature, we have to grow, and then learn to control our emotions. Just like we tell children, no, you have to share, right? Or you have to do this, or you have to do that. You can't say that to people, you can't say, you smell bad, to someone in front of their face. It's fine. They're very honest. It's a beautiful thing. And so we laugh, but when the person is an adult, we don't laugh, Sometimes we do, right? Yeah. So no, but it has its charm, right? So, but in reality, so these bodies are there to take care of you, but they take over. You understand? And sometimes they take over. They think, it's like sometimes you hire that your security personnel is so good at the building that they don't even let you in if you don't have a badge. But you see him every day. No, you don't have a badge, you can't come in. But I pay you. No, I don't care. You can't come in. So you need a badge. So they take over, right? It's too good, the security. So, but this is the thing. Is it good or bad? Is it out of love? It's the program, right? So, but at the same time, we are the ones that need to control the lower bodies. That's what we call our lower nature. The physical body, the emotional body, or the astral body, the mental body. This is the lower nature of a person, or also known as the personality by the theosophists. So it is about, this is the personality, or but this is not you, right? And their combinations, make up personalities. They're very intricate. It's not just those three things. How the emotions are handled, and at what level is the being, as far as how much control does the soul have. Younger souls have, the ones that start incarnating, have much less control, and so they do things that are more selfish sometimes, crime-wise. Others are more advanced, and then they have more control. And so, and that doesn't mean that one is good and the other one is bad. You can have some very advanced to start doing bad things also, but they're more aware, right? So, but that's that. So the goal, all the older souls or more mature souls have more control over these bodies, and then they can regulate more. So it's important that we regulate. If not, we the things that we think is us. This is such a perfect machine, right? And the other bodies that we don't see physically with our physical eyes interpenetrate the physical body, right? Like we've spoken before. Bless you, bless you, bless you. So, and it's such a such a perfect system and intricate of machines, right? It's just like a cable. A cable, when it's transferring electricity, it has an electromagnetic field, right? Because it's frequency. Electricity, alternate current is frequency. That's why it's alternate. It's alternating current, right? It's alternating. It goes, up and down. So it's a frequency. You have 60 hertz. You have 120 hertz and stuff like that. So it's important to understand that solid, right, cable that is transferring electricity also has an electromagnetic field, EMF. I'm sure you guys have heard of that. So, but you cannot see it with your eyes, but we know it's there. We can sometimes measure it or whatever. It's the same with us. So we have a dense physical body, and we have a field around, and this field, it has many layers, and these layers are your etheric body, your emotional body, your mental body, and one vibrates at a higher frequency than the other. So one is more subtle than the other, right? And but it's important to understand that these bodies, specifically emotional body, right? Here, it's the one that the masses are emotionally driven. What is masses really? It's not like, we're the intelligentsia and those are the masses. It's not necessarily like that, in the sense that one is better than the other. It's just a state of being. We can be part of the masses if we allow ourselves to be driven by emotional body. We can also at the same time be part of the intelligentsia if we're trying to control our lower emotions and keep them in check. At the same time, but what is where we are most of the time? But that's just a state of being. In one at some incarnations, right? We were part of that, and that was our constant thing. And then later on, we grow, and maybe one day, we become part of the intelligentsia. Maybe one day we grow higher than that, and whatnot. So whether we are part of the masses or not doesn't mean that we're good or bad, or that we can't achieve enlightenment or what have you. It's how much control that we start having, and what is our day to day. Where are we? Where is our consciousness at? And then it determines where we're at. It's just a name to see, generally for the people, which is the majority of people, that are at this stage of development, or at this stage of control, right, of their lower nature, or the lower emotions, where they're emotionally driven generally. And sometimes they're emotionally driven by good emotions. Sometimes they're emotionally driven by not so good emotions, lower emotions, right? And sometimes they're driven by positive lower emotions, like we just read. So again, it's not about lower or higher, or if those people are good or bad, or we are part of good or bad or not. It's not about that. It's just so that we can understand a level of control. But it says, in general, the masses are emotionally driven. Therefore, the solar plexus chakra, Gevurah, is where the lower will is located. It is the will center of the masses. Because generally, we do things out of emotion, whether it's shopping, whether it's, what if we like a car, or if we like, the food that we eat, or whatever. Oh, I feel like eating chocolate today. Or I feel like eating, ice cream or this and that. I want to go eat ice cream. I want to go eat this. I want to go eat French fries. Or I want to go eat, even if it's healthy. Sometimes, I feel like eating broccoli. I'm so excited. Kale, yes. Oh man, that kale salad, I want it. I want it so bad. It's not, it's emotion driven, or the brands that we like, the things that we do, why do we do the things that we do? A lot of it has to do with emotion. You understand? Sometimes we have things, I gotta do this, or, we're more, we try to put more emphasis on what is good and what is not. But again, it doesn't have to be negative. So it's a human thing. This is what, but then the author continues, this is why in Kabbalah, the solar plexus chakra, Gevurah, is also called strength. In more developed people, the will center is located in the Ajna chakra. In more developed people, right? When someone is more developed spiritually, right? And when I say spiritually, it doesn't mean that the person can see clairvoyantly, or the person can, has some gifts, or they say they meditate and they talk about everything that I'm talking about, and all these things. They read all these books, whatever. When he talks about more developed, it's more developed. Sometimes you come already more developed because you've been doing work from other lifetimes, right? And you don't have to know anything specifically academically or from books. But you see the person is generally very virtuous, right? They have a good level of virtue. They have a good level of understanding of things. They have concepts, ideas. They're focused on what is truly important, of things that are of permanent value. What is of permanent value? If you believe in reincarnation, right? If you believe in life after death, then you want to invest on things that are of permanent value. You don't want to build a castle on sand. You want to build it on solid rock, right? So that it can last many, many generations. So if you are focused on many lifetimes or even life after death, you want to focus on things that are of permanent value, not things sometimes that you leave behind after you leave this physical body. But it doesn't mean that, of course, you don't want to live well, that you don't have, your two wings, or one of prosperity and one of spirituality. You need both to fly, but not only one, you understand? So generally, sometimes these people are pretty balanced, and that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes we can say, I'm very spiritual because I know all this, or I read all these books, or I wear mala beads, or, I dress in white, or whatever. There are many things, but what is true development? True development is not outward, it's inward. It's internal, and sometimes these people, they don't have to know everything that others know. Maybe they just started the spiritual path, in this lifetime, but that doesn't mean they haven't done the spiritual path in previous lifetimes. That doesn't mean they already come with sound development. That doesn't mean, that if you drop $100 bill, they won't, that they won't pick it up and give it to you because that's the right thing to do. Because they feel, you drop, and even if they're dying of hunger at that moment, and look, this is yours. That's what it means, more developed people. Why? Because that takes control. When you have pangs of hunger, you haven't eaten in 2 days, you see $100 bill, the person dropped it, and you grabbed it and you give it to the person. or when your children have hunger, and you do that. That takes lots of control. Takes lots of whatever. Maybe you can ask them, hey, listen, man. Then you can ask them, children, how could you spare something? But what I'm trying to say is that you're trying to do the right thing. Even and I'm just, this is just an example, obviously. But in adverse situations, you're trying to do something that is the right thing because it comes from here. Not because you have to battle or think about, this and that, and then it comes. It could be a battle, but you already know. You already see the right? Like the spiritual teacher Osho once said, when you have a clear mind, right? You have a transparent mind. You see there's no choice because you see the right and you do the right. And that doesn't mean that again, that one is better than the other. We're all equal, right? We're all the same. We just have, but some people have been at it longer. Maybe a sixth grader knows how to add and subtract and multiply and divide better than a second grader. Why? They've been at it longer, right? And their mind has grown also. They're at different levels, so that's it. So, but doesn't mean that one is more important than the other. They're both kids. They're beautiful kids, and we love them all. So it's just, but hopefully the one in sixth grade helps the one in third grade grow and develop more. That's the whole point of Montessori, right? Put kids of different grades together so that the older ones help the younger ones. So yes. So then it says, in more developed people, we already know what more developed means, right? The will center is located in the Ajna chakra, Bina, in Hebrew, right? Bina. So the Ajna chakra, that's the word, the will center. That's why sometimes you see Frankie go like this, or you see, this whole thing or whatever, because you're trying to focus, right? Or you are very emotional. Sometimes you go like that, right? And sometimes we do it automatically, right? Something is happening and, you have an emotional thing and you're like, when you breathe, breathing, and then, but automatically we just go like this. Why? Because this focus, this chakra also is also called the director, right? If we go back, I think it's here, but it's called the director. And this director, it also, in a way, controls the other chakras. It harmonizes the other chakras, right? So it controls the other chakras. I'm trying to think of the word, but let's just go by there. Regulates. That's the word that was looking for. Regulates the other chakras. So it's called. That's why they call it the director. And why? Because this is the will center in more developed people. They generally use it more like this. They'll go and they say, okay, so this is like this, like this, like this. Then therefore we should do this and this and that. Okay. So, oh man, but I really want to eat that chocolate cake. Mm-hmm. Yes, if I eat that chocolate cake, this will happen. I already lost so many calories. I already did so much exercise. Maybe not today. Maybe I can do it next week. Okay, done. No buts. Let's just get it done. Period. Mm-hmm. So it's more, it's one-pointedness also, right? So this is the place for focusing, for one-pointedness, achieving goals. If you want to, say, achieve a goal, you want to be one-pointed. You don't want to say whatever feeling or emotion you get. Oh, I feel like going here this day. Your goal is to get to get a haircut, right? Like I need a haircut right now, so I gotta go get a haircut. So okay, so but I'm gonna go this way. Sell this great thing, and I'm gonna go on and buy some food. It's great food. Okay, let me go there first, and then oh man, I can't imagine how today is when all the trees bloom. I'm gonna to the park real quick, and then I'll go get a haircut. And then, well, tomorrow, for sure tomorrow, and then something else happens. Oh man, I feel like, where's my friend? I want to call my friend. See, all this I want to is me, and all these emotions. And then you never get to it. And then, oh no, but I got to do some work. Maybe. And then your whole thing. But if you're one-pointed, I got to go ahead. Oh, hey, listen, you want to go? No, I can't. Oh, this place sells great things or great food. Is awesome. I can get it, but I need to go get a haircut, period. You get your haircut. So that's one-pointedness. That's what the difference of will is. Understand? And that's sometimes when you used to, like my mom says, we gotta do what we gotta do. Whether we like it or not, don't even think about it. Just get it done. Let's just get it done. So shout out to my mom. Wise woman. All right. So like every mom out there. So
Shout out to mothers.
shout out to mothers. Yes. Yes. Word. Okay. So it says here, the author continues saying that Bina, or the Ashna Chakra, right, which is the will on more developed people, the will center for more developed people, is active intelligence. This is the will center for the intelligentsia, or the more developed people. The intelligence is used to will or direct the activities of other people, right? That is why managers or executives in Europe are called directors, because they direct. Oh, like the director of the Ashna Chakra. Oh, interesting. Okay, good. This type of intelligence is called active intelligence, directing intelligence, or creative intelligence, which is different from sterile intelligence. There are people who dress and talk well but do not produce results. This is sterile intelligence. You can be very intelligent, but if you don't do anything with your intelligence, if you have no will, you can be the most intelligent person in the world. Is basically what it's saying. You can have all the money in the world. You can have the best charisma in the world. You can have anything. And the most talented person. If you don't have any will to do anything with these things, it's sterile. Nothing gets done. You can have all the money in the world, but then what happens to that money? It's just sitting there. You can have all the best intentions, all the, whatever. You can be the most intelligent person in the world, but if you don't will this intelligence to do something productive, it's sterile. Nothing is done. There is no will. You can be very intelligent, but there's no will, nothing happens. So, but that's why he says active intelligence. This chakra has to do with active intelligence, being active, creative. That it does things. It produces results, and it helps direct others. Like this directs the other chakras, and at the same time, the intelligentsia, or the ones that are using active intelligence, helps direct people. Right, like the managers, or the directors, helps direct the company and steer it in a positive way. Hopefully, right? But that's the goal. So that's that. Now, aligning Gevurah with the higher will. Yes, we caught up. Okay, thank you for coming. We're done. Okay, so aligning Gevurah with the higher will. So this is basically from what we said. We understand the will of the masses. Now we want to align that with the higher will. Although the will center for the masses is located in the solar plexus chakra, Gevurah, right? A person has the option of following either the urges of the lower nature or the will of the higher soul. When the lower will of man is aligned with the will of the higher soul, man treads the path of Tao, or the spiritual path of righteousness. Gevurah corresponds to the phrase, "Thy will be done," in the Lord's Prayer. Which one? In the Lord's Prayer? Thy will be done. Gevurah corresponds to thy will be done. Whose will? The divine will, right? Divine will of God. the higher soul, the higher will. By meditating on the deeper meaning of the phrase, solar plexus chakra, Gevurah, will be properly activated. The inner strength of the person increases as he is under the influence of his higher soul. That's why it is said that the higher soul, right, is the best business being, right? The best business person. Why? Because it invests on things that are good and of permanent value. What is of why? Because it is on virtue, but it is under virtue and on our good actions or virtuous actions that we actually generate good karma. What is karma? Karma means action in Sanskrit, right? So we get merits, or because of good actions. So these good actions generate positive. We're sowing positively, positive things, positive actions, and so we will reap positive actions, right? As you sow, so shall you reap. So same thing. So this is why, because this you're investing for permanent on things that are of permanent value that will even carry into other lifetimes ahead, or even after death, right? Into the merits. So it is important to understand that that's why it is said that the spiritual cord, right? Remember the spiritual cord, we spoke about the spiritual cord before, I think on the first chapter, is the size of a spider web strand. Generally speaking, it's like the thickness, not the size, but the thickness of a spider web strand, which is 3 times thinner than a hair. And that's the connection. That's what in general, the masses and most people, the amount of the spiritual cord, that's the thickness of the spiritual cord in most people, right? So, but you have to understand, why is it so thin? Because it's very potent. It has the potency is great. This is spiritual energy, soul energy. And all this energy can be traced to the Most High, right? So just a trickle is amazing. People have their life, they work, they help people, they help business, they help the economy, they have children, they help, just with a trickle. It's just like a testament to the Divine Supreme Being and its energy, or the force, right? So now as people become more and more spiritual, it is said that those people are very, very religious. They're very dedicated to the religion. And they're constantly praying all the time, or they're constantly doing their religious practices all the time. It is said that their spiritual cord is the size of a thumb. It's the size of a thumb, the thickness, not the size, but the thickness of a thumb. So, how many spider web strands can you fit in one in like the thickness of a thumb? A lot. I think more than 100, right? Like a lot. It's very so. If you can do all that with just spider web strand, how much can you do with that? It's very potent. It is said for saints, like if you read in the Torah, I don't want to say the Old Testament because it's really the Torah. We call it the Old Testament, right? But in the Torah, it talks about a pillar of light. So for the great saints and very, very highly developed spiritual beings, you have a pillar of light. How much spiderweb strands, how much thumbs can you fit there? And it's bigger than them, it's like a pillar of light, but the chakras also, that it is then, it goes into the crown center, right? Keter. This is the entry point of spiritual energy into the body, right? The crown chakra. So the crown chakra also grows. The chakras also grow, right? So, but can you imagine? So how much more can you do? But why does this happen? It's because the higher soul invests and sends more and more energy. Of course, the body has to be ready to receive all that energy. So as you progress, this is the whole thing. The energy comes down, Kundalini becomes awakened, the Kundalini upgrades the physical body and then the other organs and the brain. You build your Antakarana, all these things happen over lifetimes, right? Eventually, this being has grown to a very high degree. And you have a pillar of light, right? So over many, many lifetimes of work. So you have to understand that the higher soul, which is pure, right? It's investing on good deeds. It's investing on good actions, on virtue. That's why sometimes you see the Lord Christ, that on top of him there's the dove, but there is this beam of light going on top of him, right? It's inaccurate because it's very small, it's very big, but it is still, you see a beam of light coming onto his head, right? Where the dove is generally located. I have to put a picture of it. So. But that's it. Is that downpouring of divine energy, or the descent of the Holy Spirit? You can say it however you want to call it in different traditions, but that's what it is. So when you are gonna do something virtuous or something good, and you make a good decision, and you sometimes are fighting with your lower emotions. And you actually, do, let's say, the right thing, there's a downpour of spiritual energy. Your spiritual cord grows. It grows, even if it's momentarily, but it grows because there's the soul is giving you more strength. It's giving you more energy to do these things. So, but when you don't, and we go with our emotions, and we probably do something that is not conducive to our spiritual growth, right? To our spiritual progress, for things of permanent value, then what happens? It shrinks. Because I'm not investing in that. I'm not putting, that money is more than money, right? It's spiritual energy. I'm not putting energy into that. It's not wise. It's not a good investment. But when you do something virtuous, something good, boom, it's more divine energy, Kundalini, all the stuff, upgrade. It is, and if it's a constant thing, it is. That's why devotional service or karma yoga, doing service, it's so good. That's why also being also correct expression, and it's a form of expression. It's correct expression that's why it's so important. So we help others, and there's a downpour of energy all the time, whether it's through any type of action. Okay, so thy will be done. So the emotional permanent seed. That's the next section on page 99. So the emotional permanent seed, says the author, Master Choa Kok Sui, is lodged in the solar plexus chakra and the liver. It is pinkish rose red to predominantly rose red with rainbow colors around it. The emotional permanent seed contains the design of your emotional body. The design of your emotional body. We spoke about the emotional body. Why is this subtle body called the emotional body? Because through this subtle body, a person is able to experience intense emotions, ranging from anger, irritation, fear, love, sweetness, and others. With the use of the emotional body, two lovers in the inner world can unite in intense divine ecstasy. The emotional, this is a very important, okay? The emotional body is also called the astral body because it is made of light. It looks like starry light. When the body is sleeping, the incarnated soul transfers to the astral body and travels in the inner world. Did he say something? When the body is sleeping? I know I've said this many times, but I like how Master Choa says it here. When the body is sleeping, the incarnated soul transfers to the astral body. Which soul? The incarnated soul. Transfers to the astral body and travels in the inner world. Transfers from where? From the physical body into the astral body. How come then the body doesn't die? Physical body. It leaves a little portion of itself behind, or emanation of itself, so that to maintain the biological functions running. Thank you. And then, but it transfers to the emotional body, and then you go. What's the inner world? That's a very good question. That's a good question. The inner world. Yes? You want to answer the question?
With the astral plane.
Yes, the inner world is a combination of planes. So not only the astral plane, but also many other planes. So if they mean the inner world, anything that is not this world.
So when you leave, you could be in different levels.
Yes, but let's say generally why does the incarnated soul transfer to the emotional body or to the astral body? Because it goes into the astral world. When you're sleeping, you really go into the astral world, not into the mental or the higher worlds. So you go into the astral world, but there's a difference. You can go into the lower astral or the higher astral. The higher astral is more fun.
Those are all
And they are all inner worlds. Yeah, so the inner world is like when you hear the different types of heaven or different dimensions other than this one. So the different heavens are part of the inner world. There are also hells and things like that. That's the inner, all of these things are the inner world. There are worlds in different dimensions that we don't see with our physical eyes. That's the inner world. Yes. But they're saying inner because you access them through the different chakras, which sometimes the chakras are called gates. Gates to where? Gates to the inner world. So, and what does it say inner world? Because you go inside. You go through meditation, through sleep. It's not like you take your body there. Because you don't need your physical body. The only reason you need a body, let me just say that again. I know I say it probably every booklet, but I really want to drive this point home, is that we're not the body. We are souls, right? And so the reason that we need a physical body is to be able to interact with the world that we're in. As you just read, the incarnated soul doesn't take the physical body into the astral world. Why? Sometimes when people have an experience, the first person one of the first questions that they ask, let's say they have an experience. What I mean experience, let's say they have a vision, or they see something. They see a being from another planet, or they see an angel, or they see another world or something. What is one of the first questions that they ask that person? But in the physical, you met them in the physical, it doesn't matter. You're a soul, you're not a body. So where you saw it, it doesn't matter. You had an experience. I mean, obviously it matters to people because generally we think that we are here. We think that this is who we are. And so if you have it in a physical experience, then that validates the experience. So you can have experiences in different levels. But, the reason is, but you maybe imagined it or this and that. No. then people have, oh no, but I have this mark. Oh, okay, then it's something physical, then I'll believe it. But in reality, it doesn't matter whether, the person knows generally when it's, when it's imagination. When you get to a point where you start realizing what, the difference between imagination and actual experience. But again, when people talk about imagination, it's because it's inner. Because these things you experience it not in the physical. So then automatically they are inside you, and it really is not inside you, but it's just through these gates or through these chakras, through that you go out into that. Or you transfer into these bodies that are in here, outside and inside you, they interpenetrate the physical body, and then let's say you go into those bodies and you go. But but it's how people look at it. Their concept of inner is because it's, you go through inside you and there. Not necessarily that it's just inside you. It's just the inner world beyond the veil of this physical world. So the only reason that you need a physical body is so that you can interact with physical stuff. So you can touch them and interact with them and turn the page at will. And you can interact with this world. You can feel this world and touch this world and smell this world and all these different levels. But if you didn't have to be in this plane, you wouldn't need a physical body. If you're just gonna be in the astral body, like the incarnated soul does, it doesn't take the physical body, it doesn't need it. Because you yourself, the soul, don't need it. You travel light, you don't take extra baggage, right? So then and if you need to go into the mental plane, believe me, you're not gonna take the physical nor the emotional. You're gonna take only the mental body. And if you don't need any of these, you're not gonna take them. And eventually, we get on other bodies. And sometimes, at some point, we will need these bodies. We won't need to be in this plane. We'll go to other planes. And believe me, we won't have physical bodies. So, because this is not exactly how many incarnations and have we had? We just have different models and different. How many cars have you had in your lifetime? Do they all look exactly the same? No. How many clothes have you worn? Is it the same model clothes? No. Same color, same anything? No. So it makes no sense. It's just that we are accustomed to looking at this in the mirror every day, but in reality, how many, like I told my kids the other day, you gotta get along with everybody. It doesn't matter whether they're little boys. So the little boys, they want to click with only boys or whatever, right? Girls are not. Wait until they grow up and then they're gonna go after the girls. But right now they're only they want to be with the boys and stuff. And so now you gotta play with everybody, because at the end of the day, this is just a different model. But we're all people. Whether you have a female model or a male model, right? Whether you have a sedan or a GT or an XL, it doesn't matter. It's just a vehicle. But we don't have a sex. We're souls. We don't have a gender. We don't have a race or ethnicity. All these things. This is just, in reality, we're souls.